Hey y'all, I'm Shayna and I'm back with another review. This is for Married at First Sight, season 16, episode 14 in Nashville. The name of the episode was silly, so I ain't even going, I'm gonna just leave it alone. I just want to know, how many more episodes do we have? Like, how many more? End it. Wrap it up. We should have wrapped this up 5 weeks ago. When it got to the 1 month anniversary, we should have ended it right then and there. But all right, let's go ahead and get into it. But if you're new here, if you've been here before, whatever, either way, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check out my other content if you enjoy TV reviews. Like, don't you click off without subscribing, okay? So for this show and this show only, I do couple by couple. And it's just random because they all boring at this point. Like, none of them are giving what they're supposed to give. Let's just go ahead with Jasmine and Eris. So Jasmine and Eris, who is giving me season 12 Chris energy. Yeah. She's driving alone and she shares with us that she's having mixed emotions regarding her marriage. Girl, why you we already knew that. We knew that a couple weeks ago. She said her guard is now up because her husband basically don't like her. And but she's still hopeful. Hopeful about what? Like, whatever hope you have, throw it away. Get rid of it. It's not gonna work. So Dr. Pia comes finally in the last hour. Okay, like she should have been there. If Dr. Viviana left, then Dr. Pia should have taken her place all season. What am I saying? We ain't even seen Dr. Pepper all season, so never mind. She comes over to visit the couple and she asks if their needs are being met. Of course, Jasmine says no. They aren't being met and haven't been met all the entire marriage. And she once again mentions that he's not attracted to her and that he friend zoned her. I wish she'd stop bringing that up. Like, I don't even think she need to share all that. Like, every time she says it, it just is cringy. But she was like, look, I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm trying to be your wife. I know that's right. But why are you trying to be his wife at this point? I'd just be somebody that you used to know, okay? So they don't even remember the last time they hugged. Awful. Dr. Pia feels Jasmine's being agreeable. Like, she don't never want to say how she really feels. She's, trying to avoid confrontation. And that's kind of what that cousin was saying. But, I mean, y'all ain't like when the cousin said it. But here go Dr. Pia saying it. She was like, you don't want to stir the pot. Eris agrees. And he says he's been trying to open up to her, but she's not reciprocating. Like with the fishbowl activity, when he answered questions. First of all, you asked 25 questions before she finally said you first. And then you finally said something. So, I mean, she's been trying to share the first half of the marriage. Jasmine says he makes her feel like he doesn't want to be there. And he don't. And she know he don't. And we know he don't. And he know he don't. They know he don't. Everybody knows that he don't want to be there. She says she feels like he's just asking questions to pass the time. Like, he really don't care. He don't care. He's really not that interested, and she's absolutely correct. She's accurate 100%. He's passing time and trying to get through these next few weeks so he can run back to the streets. The fact that we found out that he slept with one of her friends ain't helping either. So Dr. Pia asks Eris, how he felt when Jasmine called him out about everything that he's not doing. And he said he loved it. She started smiling and giggling, covering him. What's happening? He said he likes being called out. He likes toxicity. He don't like you though. Like, it don't matter who. Anybody could have did that and he might have liked it. Like, he don't like you personally. So later on, Jasmine and Eris are cooking together, and I see the Hello Fresh placement. Okay, I guess we got enough of that ring company, and now we moving on to food companies. So Eris had a FaceTime with Jasmine's sister, and sis gave him the real. She said she shouldn't have to woo you for you to love her. At this point, I'm not even trying to get him to love her. Like, I'm just trying to get him to be nice to her. Like, just be kind to her. I mean, it seems like he's struggling to do that. Sis told Jasmine that Eris said he only clapped for her when she came down the aisle because Pastor Cal told him to. I'm about ready to knock Aaron's head between a washer and a dryer, okay? I've had enough. For him to be looking like a mannequin, it's the audacity, okay? moving on. Kirsten and Shaq. So Shaq is away on a work trip. And first of all, for him to be taking all these work trips, how did he even qualify for this show? So he and Kirsten are on video chat, and he looks completely uninterested. He another one that's checked out. That's why we keep saying Shaq and Jasmine should have been together. But I don't know. Maybe it's not too late. I don't. But he looks uninterested. He don't really seem like he want to talk to her. So before they hang up, Kirsten blows him a kiss. And he's like, boop, hung right up. Doot. Click. Did not care. She called him right back and was like, I tried to blow you a kiss when you hung up on me. And then she did it again, and he was like, all right, bye. Like, he don't want nothing to do with her. Like, I'm starting to feel like he don't like her as a person. So, but he did tell us at the after party that she would put on for the cameras. I mean, she acted one way when they film it and another way when nobody's there. So, I mean, that probably has something to do with it. Y'all keep forgetting that. So when Dr. Pia comes over, Kirsten acts like things have been great. She's talking about things have been great. She do get putting on, and she's been giving that since episode 1. How have things been great? Y'all haven't agreed on anything. So Shaq said things have been rocky. And Dr. Pia was like, well, hold up, wait a minute. That we on two ends of the spectrum. You saying things are great, and he's saying things are rocky. So Kirsten says she's used to being in control, and she got to get out of that. Could have fooled me. Don't seem like you want to control much. She says she feels comfortable letting him lead, but that's not what we got last week when she said he's not a provider and he don't give her all the feels that her daddy gave her. Then she said she was turned on. Dr. Pia was like, give us a time or tell me when you was like turned on by him. And she said when he was moving boxes. And Dr. Pia was like, I mean, what's so sexy about him moving boxes? Like, what about it? And she was like, oh, it's just giving masculine energy. And Dr. Pia was like, well, do you think he's masculine? Y'all, Kirsten paused so long. Like, I got up, used the bathroom and everything, came back. And she's still sitting there contemplating and trying to decide. The look on his face said it all. Finally, she said yes. But Dr. Pia was like, nah, hold up. That pause was too long. I'm supposed to be at the next apartment, and I'm still sitting here with you because of that pause. So she was like, well, I mean, it's just like my dad was this provider, this mystery dad who we'll never see, apparently. She was this great provider, and he was an entrepreneur, and he was masculine. Do you have to be an entrepreneur to be masculine? Like, I didn't know that was a masculine trait. But she was saying he was, worked with his hands. He was a man's man, and he provided for the family. But again, her parents got divorced when she was 8. So it's not like you grew up your whole life seeing this. Like, I don't understand why she keeps bringing it up every single time we see her. So Shaq was like, look, because she was like, how do you feel about it? And he was like, he looked like he felt the way. And he was like, do I gotta be, what has to happen for me to prove that I'm this masculine person? Like, does somebody have to try to break into your car? Like, what has to happen? What has to occur for you to feel like I'll protect you? I feel like he feels away because he probably been hearing this his whole life. Like, he did make mention when they had that makeshift spa day that he was struggling, like, with his identity and stuff. And he always brings up the fact that he was raised by a single mother and didn't even know his father till he was, like, almost grown. So maybe he's heard this before. Could be a touchy subject. Then your wife saying it. But he said basically he feels like he's in competition with her dad. And she was like, no, I don't want you to like be my dad. I just want you to have traits like my dad. I understand where she's coming from because I feel like my dad has great traits and I would want to see some of his traits in my husband. But I mean, she only knows how he was as a father, not as a husband. And that's why you don't marry a stranger. You can't marry a stranger, let strangers pick your husband, and then have all these demands. So later on, Kirsten and Shaq do an activity where she has to trust Shaq. She got to follow his lead. Like, she's listening to his voice, and she's really not trusting what he's saying. Then he ends up tying her with a rope. She said she liked it. It was boring. Afterwards, he expressed that he was disappointed that she didn't come on a work trip with him, even though she initially told him she would. So at first, I'm like, okay, every single time you go on a work trip, like, she might not be able to make it. But at the same time, she told him she was. Like, don't say you're going to come, and then the last minute we about to go, and then cancel. So she was like, oh, you should have told me you really wanted me to be there. Now I feel bad. Like, you feel bad because he said it on camera. He said he wanted you to be there when you first agreed to go. So, I don't know. I feel like if she should have never promised that she was going to be there. So, I don't know. He shouldn't have the expectation on her all the time. But don't say it if you ain't going to do it. At least if you would have told him up front, then, yeah. But a producer asked Jack if he was happy in the marriage. Basically, he went all around the bush to say no. Chris and Nicole. Chris, Nicole, and her mom, Jeans, are installing a bidet, a scene that we absolutely did not need. Could have thrown this away. She was turned on because he installed it. Like, anyway, Dr. Pia arrives and they discuss intimacy because, you know, Dr. Pia is a new sexpert. Nicole expresses that there's not enough foreplay. Like, sounds like there's barely any. Like, he might kiss her and then get started. Like, he's selfish. He's for himself. So Dr. Pia asks if Nicole's a people pleaser. She is. Because she said on the after party, was it last week? Like, Keisha Knight Pulliam said something about Chris. And she was like, I know it seems like, basically, like he's a yes man. Like, girl, you watching what we watching? Nobody watching this show thinks Chris is any kind of yes man. We don't think you walking all over him. He's been walking you like a dog from start to finish. So she was like, I mean, I have, but not in this relationship. And she was saying she like slept with men in the past and she didn't feel great about it. Like she was doing it just to please them. When have you not been doing it in this relationship? You've been doing it the whole relationship. You set the expectation when you gave up your dog. We ain't seen your dog since. So Nicole starts blaming herself for her past decisions and like self-sabotages like she always does. Dr. Pia need to get out of sex therapy and just give her some individual counseling because she needs it. So then they come home to a treasure chest filled with sex toys, and them looking at the stuff makes me uncomfortable. I can't picture it. Like, they give very, like, they would give straight vanilla sex, nothing special. Chris was like, I don't need it. We didn't need to see it. Nicole was like, well, if decision day was a day and I had to have sex with no foreplay and no pleasure for the rest of my life, I would say yes. We know. Because you want to be married so bad. Let him please you for once. Goodness. She didn't even give him a chance to say he would try to fix it. She just was like, nope. Continue to disappoint me. I'm fine. Gina and Clint. Why are they here? Dr. Pia comes to visit the couple. And some of y'all been pointing out Gina's humpback. And I ain't want to say nothing, but I mean, it's probably because she be bending over doing hair, you know? I don't know. So Clint says things are going good. And Gina makes it clear that he's in the friend zone and he's not getting out. Clint pretends like, you know, he's not ready to have sex with her because she don't want him. Even though we know that if she threw him a bone, he'd take it. And Dr. Pia asks, you know, like, do y'all have independent sexual desires? Before she could finish a sentence, he was like, yes. And Gina was like, that was a fast yes. Like, she felt away. Like, well, what do you expect? Just because you don't want to have sex with him don't mean he don't want to have sex. So they both was like, look, we are in our own rooms taking care of ourselves. And then Gina was like, well, you know, she wanted sex to happen between them organically. How? Dr. Pia was like, that don't even make no sense. You ain't doing nothing. Like, she ain't let up. She's like, you're not doing nothing to change the dynamics. Like, you're not putting forth effort. And Gina was like, we spend time together. We hang out. You won't hold his hand. You don't kiss. You don't do anything romantic. Like, you're treating him like he's, I don't know, your bro. So how is intimacy supposed to happen if you're not doing anything intimate? But I mean, let's just end their season here. Like, there's nothing else. Like, I would rather see what Dominique and McKinley are doing individually than see these two together. But a side note, I love Dr. Pia because she don't play. She do not let up. Like, she don't care how they feel about it. Listen, what you saying ain't making no sense. Okay? We thinking it, she's saying it. Afterwards, Gina tries to offer Clint a haircut because she can't stand his hair. And she won't let him forget it. And she says, look, whether we say married or not, you'll thank me. I guess she's trying to set the homie up for his next wife. Then they talk about sex, something we know they'll never have. After we basically watched paint dry, when we watched them, they started playing with some feathers and some stuff. Clint is like the comedic relief, but this is awful. Like, this is painful. He's so likable, but for y'all saying that there was some hope a couple weeks ago, what were y'all looking at? She had him in the friend zone then, and she got him in the friend zone now. Later they talk about sex again, and I can't stand it. Like, please. I'd rather hear nails on a chalkboard than hear them talk about sex again. So then the guys meet up and the girls meet up separately. The guys meet at a baseball field and the ladies meet for drinks. Nicole was saying she wished Chris was more assertive when something's bothering her. Like, she wished that when something's bothering her, he wouldn't just be like, oh, I'm here if you need me. She wished he would be more demanding, like, no, let's talk about it. Like, what's bothering you? Tell me about it right now. Because she's like, if you're going to say, tell me about it when you're ready, she's never going to be ready. And, I mean, that makes sense. Maybe he doesn't know how to handle her emotions. It seems like when she gets emotional, it bothers him, like it annoys him. Jack complains that Kirsten is she's not always making his work events and it's bothering him. But instead of like being passive aggressive about it like you've been being and then saying something after the fact, you should have just came out and said something before. Then maybe she would have showed up this time. But that's why you need to pick your own spouse. Eris asked Shaq, like, well, while we on the baseball field, what base are y'all on? Because he's always worried about sex. Shaq said we're on second base, getting the third. What's second base? Like, what is second base? Like, they finally kissed? Is that second base? What would third base be? And then what's fourth? Third, maybe foreplay, fourth, actual sex? Don't matter because we find out next week that they consummated the marriage. Nicole asked Kirsten the same question, and Kirsten was like, we're getting there. Like, we're working on it. I think she's trying to force herself to like him because she don't like that man. Clint was like, well, look, we not even in the stadium, okay? No, y'all not even in the parking lot. Y'all didn't even leave the house and get in the car. Y'all not even watching it on TV. So, yeah. Eris was like, Dr. P didn't even bother asking him about sex. Like, she already knew. Like, she didn't even mention it. And then he mentioned once again that he's not attracted to Jasmine. Jasmine was telling the ladies, like, she sweeps things under the rug. She don't want to basically say how she feels because she's afraid of what his response will be. Not the fact that you aren't able to say anything is even worse. Like, that's very sad. And she starts breaking down. Like, that's the part I was starting to feel a little sad. I was like, man, my heart is breaking for her. Like, that's so upsetting that this is playing out on TV. Like, But forget him. Like, your king is out there. Your real husband that you're supposed to be with is probably watching the show. I'm glad he's acting a fool. That was like, the more he does it, the more he pushes her away. She'll say no and let him go. And then she can be with the man she's really supposed to be with. So he's doing her a favor. It's a win-win if you ask me. But y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. I don't even want to go to decision day. Let's skip to the reunion. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.